Who is the pet now? Who is the pet now? You sat here and said Bayern Munich, they are Real Madrid's pets. From what I saw yesterday, it's like the rules were reversed.
Oh,
the rules were reversed. You were the pet on the day.
This video, the numbers matter.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So please subscribe and support him and support him. Subscribe to him.
Just 4 goals in the Champions League on the Champions League night already tells you that we are in the business end of the Champions League. We are getting to the heat moments. We are getting into the semi-final before the final. We had Real Madrid take on Bayern Munich at the Bernabeu. We also had Arsenal taking on Lisbon, Sporting Lisbon in the city of Lisbon in Portugal. First things first, who is the pet now? Who is the pet now? You sat here and said Bayern Munich, they are Real Madrid's pets. From what I saw yesterday, it's like the rules were reversed.
Oh,
the rules were reversed. You were the pet on the day.
No. We can't.
So tell me what went wrong for Madrid.
Okay, so the pets version there was just a mere say. Let me just
now you're retracting your statement.
No, I'm not. I'm not. It was just a mere say.
So what went wrong for Madrid?
So Bayern came into this game as favorites. No doubt about that. But on the field of play, how tactics flow and then how chances are created, goals scored and everything would definitely give you your analysis, because that was what you watched on the field. Let me start from the Real Madrid side. Arbeloa and his boys, how they approached this game. Yes, they played a normal 4-4-2, the traditional 4-4-2 that we know. I wasn't a bit convinced, because I thought this game he was going to approach it in a 4-3-3, how do you call it, formation. But the 4-4-2 wasn't that bad. It kept them in a compact mid. It gave them a compact midfield. Tchouaméni was able to join the back line to help or cover up the spaces that would be created there. Carreras, he did his best in the first 50 minutes with Olise, but after the 75 minutes, Olise was just like telling him to come and pass, and he was also passing, and Olise was getting his way through. How Madrid came into the game in the second half, I think if they should pay much attention to that and take it into the second leg, it's going to help them. In the sense that Diego Pitach, he was lost in this game. I think it was way beyond him. And I understand it.
How was it way before you go? I don't want to cut you. You guys were the ones saying you shouldn't put in Jude Bellingham now. The midfield is already complete. You've played certain good games with Thiago Pitach, so Jude Bellingham shouldn't come in. We saw Thiago Pitach against Bayern Munich, and it wasn't good at all.
Yes. So
from now on,
I said it point blank here that Arbeloa should keep the formation and the boys that he used to play City. But yesterday we saw Mbappe being introduced, and when Mbappe is introduced in the lineup, it changes everything. So Diaz didn't start. But with the City match, one thing that I realized was our quick in transition that helped Valverde to score the hat-trick was Diaz is able to move faster with the ball, with the help of maybe if Thiago dispossesses the ball, he gives it to Diaz, or Diaz gets it and then he goes. Valverde runs on time, and then you see the chances being created. But this time he didn't start. Mbappe started. So when Mbappe starts, Vinicius, Mbappe, two tops, it changed everything from our midfield to the final third. So it helped us in the sense that, one, we didn't concede early at the early minutes of the game. We kept a compact midfield, but we were losing the upfront too. When when the ball goes beyond the center line, there's nobody there to So it didn't really help us. But as I said, the way he responded to it in the second half by introducing Jude Bellingham, who carried most of our balls, especially at the right side, to prevent Olise from getting most of the balls to punish us, it helped. So going into the next leg, I don't think...
we'll come to the next. Okay, I just want your thoughts on this.
Okay, so, and then Bayern too. Yes, as I said, the most dangerous attacking team in the Champions League this season. In fact, Europe this season. They'll score you hands down. I was a bit surprised. And turns up to Harry Kane. he will forever be that English player like that I like as a striker. Like let me say our generation. Look at how he sometimes sits behind Tchouaméni. He even goes behind him as number 8. He was just roaming in the game in a beautiful spaces that I think you won't get that from all number 9s, like all strikers. You won't get that from them. And one beautiful thing that I also liked from Company was how he used Kimmich. He used Kimmich in the final third for them.
Yes.
So you will see them build up in a 3-2-5.
Yes.
When they are even attacking, with the help of Upamecano doing Kimmich's
duty. Yes.
So it was a tactical formation that, was clearly exhibited yesterday.
Yeah, that really helped them to dominate the midfield against Real Madrid. Upamecano moving inside and Kimmich doing what he was doing. Now, So I want you to talk about Michael Olise. Michael Olise on the day. We've heard his name all over since yesterday. They were speaking about Olise, how good he is. See, before, people were doubting that he was that good because it was the Bundesliga. People were comparing him to Lamine Yamal, and some people seem to shut it down. Now he showed his level against arguably the biggest team in the Champions League, against Real Madrid. Tell me about Olise. Is he going on to produce one of an all-time great season for a player in the Bundesliga and also in the Champions League?
For fans of Bundesliga, for people who really watch the Bundesliga, I don't think it's news to see Olise performing at this standard in the Champions League, because he's an incredible player by all standards. But then what makes players break out, what makes their name come out in the minds of people is performances like this on the highest stage of football, the Champions League, against the best team when it comes to the Champions League, Real Madrid. This is the stage at the point in time that you need to exhibit for everybody to be able to see the kind of prowess that you have. This is the stage that you need to shift pressure behind and then do whatever you can do it. And then he showed it once again. To me, it's nothing new to me. I've seen it consistently in the Bundesliga, but then I wanted to see it against Real Madrid, a very formidable side in the Champions League, and then once again he delivered. There's one thing about Bayern Munich that people haven't realized. When you look at the Bayern Munich side, generally, many attacking trios, you get 2 of them being creators and scorers, and then one being just a scorer. But with the Bayern Munich attack, you get all of them being creators and also scorers, including Harry Kane. So you realize that Olise capitalizes on the creativity itself, and then he makes it very beautiful for the trio over there. So Olise, not much has to be said about Olise. I think he's an incredible player. Once again, he showed it on a big stage, and then he deserves the accolades.
There's been this comparison with Lamine Yamal. Does it stand for you?
I think
who is the better player?
I think it's legitimate if you want to do that comparison. Olise is incredible. Lamine Yamal is incredible. But I think that they have their different styles. I think Lamine Yamal is much direct, much someone who wants to do a 1v1, who is aggressive with that. Olise is someone who wants to usually drift inside and then take control of the half spaces. But then personally, I believe that Olise edges a little bit past Lamine Yamal for me. I'm a Barcelona fan. In as much as I'm a Barcelona fan, what I have seen, and why I'm saying that is that I have seen Olise deliver in way many big matches than Lamine Yamal has. Lamine Yamal, although he's 18 years old, he has come under criticism of not delivering when it comes to bigger matches. We can make accounts for him. We can make an exception for him with Inter Milan and then Real Madrid also. Aside that, he finds it very difficult. And then you can give that apportionment to the way they tactically failed him to hack the touchline. But then we see Lamine Yamal also being given that freedom to drift in centrally. And you see what he brings to the field of play. So I believe that it's about tweaking his style. There's tactics should give him that opportunity to be able to drift in the central areas, and it gives him some sort of unpredictability. But when you limit him to hugging the touchline, and then makes him a little bit predictable, you take him out of the game. So I believe that Lamine is an incredible player, but I will go for Michael Olise as a way better.
Wow.
Okay. So we've spoken about the Bayern and Real Madrid game. We'll come back to it for the next leg. Now let's go to the other game that happened on the Champions League night. Arsenal took on Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. Selassie, you've watched Arsenal this season.
Yeah.
Arsenal is the best defensive team in the Champions League this season.
Yeah.
Yes, they've conceded just 4 goals.
Yeah.
Just 4 goals, especially in the group stages. They came up against a Sporting team that they looked very strong. They were undefeated at home for some stretch of matches.
Yeah.
They came up against Arsenal, and then you could see clearly Arsenal were struggling against Sporting. People thought it was the easiest fixture in the lineups, in the fixtures yet. So why didn't Arsenal score more than 2 goals?
Okay, so Arsenal, we can all attest to how,
Let's go.
we can all attest to how they've played their games, even in their EPL.
Yes.
How they suffered to score 4-5 goals.
Yes.
When Arteta came, initially when Arteta came to Arsenal, we see them scoring 2-3 like goals and all that, but I think it has changed, particularly this season. It has really changed. They rely on their set pieces and then they score. One thing I noticed in the game yesterday was Sporting CP didn't really give Arsenal the chance to control the game in terms of possession. They had more, like they prevented, they getting the ball to create those fouls for the set pieces to come out. Arsenal, Sporting CP dominated Arsenal in terms of their big chances being created. They did it because attacking minded. They feel like the fluidity in the Sporting Lisbon team is way ahead of the Arsenal team because of their style of play. Yeah. And you cannot get an attacking. You cannot get your team scoring if your attackers are, not really scoring in their previous matches.
Gyökeres.
I always say it. He always get the back scratch from Eze, and Eze is not in this. He's injured.
So you think when they bring on Martin Odegaard, he struggles to score?
Exactly, because Eze comes back, or he drops a bit deep to carry some of the balls from Zubimendi and Declan Rice. Then he edges Gyökeres on to score, but he's not there, and so somebody to give him a direct pass or a direct ball for him to score, he's not getting it. The likes of Saka
didn't
even play though, but then when he even starts to, you don't see him crossing.
Yeah, he doesn't get the service he requires
from him. So I say I don't want to say he has become a safe striker, but then it looks like that. Because strikers, they are supposed to feed you, and it helps you, especially your runs and how you position yourself. But here lies the case in their previous matches, they don't get it. So when you meet a team that are well concentrated on attacking, they'll keep most of their balls, and then it won't get to you. So yesterday we saw them getting less fouls in their game, and even corners that we know them to dominate, they didn't also get that. It took Zubimendi's how do you call it? Individual intellect for him to put on that strike for them to get that goal at the latter part of the game.
That was Kai Havertz there.
Kai Havertz. Yeah. You see, so and even Kai Havertz came in as a sub.
Yes.
Imagine if he had not come in, it means it wasn't going to end.
It wasn't going to end in that way.
So Arsenal, I think, I don't really know what is working for them, but then they are very lucky with their style of play and how they are progressing in the leagues.
All right, so again on Arsenal, right? Sorry to the Sporting Lisbon fans, because Arsenal were overwhelming favourites for that game. So I'm quite a bit surprised that they only got a goal in the ending part of the game. Once again, the front three, Gyökeres. This time it was Madrid, not Saka. This time also Martinelli on the left flank. Arsenal seem to be getting away with wins without their forwards scoring goals. They're most of the times. And Odegaard as well. When Odegaard comes, it seems that Mikel Arteta does not play a number 10. So he wants two attacking midfielders inside. But also, like she said, it does not really give Gyökeres a lot of service over there. In the next game going to face Sporting Lisbon at Emirates, again Arsenal is the overwhelming favourites for them. What do you think should be done this time for them to get a lot of goals? Because you can't always rely on certain strange goals or individual brilliances to get your winners.
First of all, I think it's a great result for Arsenal. I think we deserve to commend Arsenal because when you look at history, what history tells you is that whenever Arsenal goes all the way to Portugal, they never get a good result. I can be fact checked, but I think the last 9 matches that they went to Portugal, they've won just one. So coming out from Lisbon to get a point in Lisbon, 3 points as a matter of fact, getting the win against Sporting Lisbon, I think that it's something worth commendable for Arsenal. They never go there and not suffer. And then when you look into the game itself, they could have been punished, but in some way, somehow, the individual of Kai Havertz came to play. And at this stage of the Champions League, you need that to save you sometimes. Sometimes when your tactics are not working, you need people who can stand up for the team and then get you the result. And Kai Havertz executed it very brilliantly. I have no doubt that Arsenal is going to progress in the next stage of competition at the Emirates. I think that Arsenal has struggled with issues of creating for the striker. One thing that gives Arsenal goals whenever Gyökeres gets the opportunity to score is when they cross into the box. But you ask yourself, what if crossing in the box doesn't work? Then it makes it very difficult for Gyökeres to score. I believe that it's a setup issue of creativity that the Arsenal side need to work on. They need to beef up the creativity of the team. They need to, make it a variety. I think that the creativity of Arsenal, the creativity spark of Arsenal is very predictable. During the time that Saka was on his peak, you could see that the creativity spark of Arsenal was from that Saka flank. Now he's not a... Odegaard is not in his great form. When Eze is not playing, you can't find where the creativity is coming for Arsenal. So it's something that they really, really need to work on. Because if you are not able to get the crosses into the box, and then the creativity spark also is being captured, then how are you going to get goals? They need to come from set pieces as usual, or individual brilliance of the players. Whether it was individual brilliance, they managed to get the win, and I think that is the most important one for them.
Yeah, so I want to leave a little note on the Arsenal. Like you said, the creativity is lacking from their points. I thought in modern football, we are shifting away from fullbacks overlapping to cross a lot. Even at Manchester City, I don't see Matheus Nunes crossing a lot, except that goes to the bar line and cross. On the left side as well, Nico Riley does not cross the ball, so they are relying on Doku to dribble and make a cutback. Arsenal, a typical case, their fullbacks are inverting instead of overlapping sometimes. We had an era where we had Robert Anderson, and then we asked Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool. They had the most assists in the Premier League. Reece James as well, getting the most assists in the Premier League for some time. Ben Chilwell. Now Reece James is playing midfield, inverting and all those things.
Even Cucurella.
We don't get the crosses again. So one thing, you have a TikTok striker, Gyökeres, who wants to head on. You bring in a fullback. Sometimes you have to bring some changes in it. You don't always have to. See, the inversion, right, is to occupy midfield. So another way to do that is also bringing a player to occupy the midfield, then allowing the fullback to go to the flanks and then cross, because it will suit your players better. The strikers are not scoring. You have to find a way to score it. Some of the times too, I expect Madueke and then Bukayo Saka. The Martinelli, okay, Madueke and Bukayo Saka have been doing it quite a bit. They do that inverted crossing where the players can latch on at the far post, then they get a tapping from the strikers. But Martinelli does not do that as a player. He also has to learn that in the modern football as a winger, when you stand adjacent in the house pieces and you make an inverted cross, you might get someone to get. It's a high quality chance. So those kind of varieties can also help with the chance creation problem with Arsenal. We are done with the Champions League games that happened last night. We are moving on to a big Champions League game night. Barcelona coming up against their Spanish rivals, Atletico Madrid. And then the next game, which is Liverpool, then PSG. 2 big games coming up. Starting with you. You are a Barcelona fan. We are going up against Atletico Madrid again, probably in the same week, right? Because they play them on Saturday.
Right.
So, okay, so it's a different week coming in. Barcelona against Atletico Madrid. There's this record, we've already spoken about it, that Barcelona seem to be not able to get past Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Do you think it will happen?
I think it's all dependent on the way Barcelona handles this game or how Hansi Flick chooses to manage this game going forward. I think this scenario has happened before where Barcelona had the opportunity to play Atletico Madrid in a different competition and come back to play them twice in the Champions League. And this was what happened. Barcelona won the first two, and then the last game, Atletico Madrid won. I won't be surprised if the same thing happens. I'm actually tipping Barcelona to win this one by 3-1. However, I believe that Barcelona has lost that press leader in Rafinha. Rashford had an incredible game in the previous one, no doubt about that. He even got his name in the score sheet. But then when it comes to someone who leads the press, Rashford doesn't give you even half of what Rafinha gives you. He's reluctant. But then the success of that counter press of Barcelona is reliant on a coordinated press structure. And it needs to be very effective. What I'll be looking out for in this game is a coordinated, effectively press structure and then control. In control, you can have that in Pedri Gonzalez. And then one major problem for me is that Marc Bernal, I don't think will be featuring in this game. So possibly Eric Garcia will be stepping in. When this happens, what it does that it takes some sort of control that Barcelona is going to get from this game also. So it scares me going into this game because
it should scare you because the last time we did it, that's when Atletico Madrid scored as 4-0.
That's what happened.
Why should Eric Garcia be playing?
There is no Frankie de Jong. There's no Marc Bernal. So it reduces the control.
There's Marc Casado.
There's Marc Casado, who cannot give you what Marc Bernal.
He cannot give you, but he'll do better than Eric Garcia. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But you know, Kelvin, to be fair to Hansi Flick, Marc Casado has become a little bit rusty recently. What Eric Garcia will give you defensive solidity, and then gives Pedri that free roll to be able to distribute the passes going on into attack. So this is not a relatively easier game for Barcelona. But I think that Barcelona are still going to try as much as possible, keep possession, pin Atletico Madrid to their back, and then try and get some results against them. I'm tipping Barcelona to win this fixture by 3-1.
3-1. He's a very confident Barcelona fan. Selassie. Okay, tell me.
Yeah, so my take on the Barca game, on a panditry rule, let me just read out my analysis. Since you have issue with the Eric Garcia thing, it means you are going to have Pedri, who you definitely know a top-notch controller for you. You have Cancelo, who is also good with crosses now and then good with the ball. So I haven't really enjoyed, or maybe it's because I haven't paid attention to him in terms of his overlapping. So why don't you try to invert him into the midfield to, be at the back of these two, so that when Eric Garcia loses the ball or is unable to, do the dirty works a bit, when he comes up to, help, it means when he gets the ball into the midfield to Pedri and then his people.
It's a good idea you are saying, but Cancelo defensively is worse.
You see, so that's what I'm saying, that you're not going to put it on him. It's like Trent. You don't put it on him. Immediately you see Luis Diaz getting the ball. We saw Valverde and then this guy. They always come. They are even in front of Trent. So it's possible. Hansi Flick should do it because see, one thing that I said, the Copa del Rey, the first leg that made Atletico score you people was that when the ball is out of your possession,
there was no one out
there was no one because Frankie de Jong couldn't do what Pedri does for you. And when the ball is not with you people a lot, Atletico is going to run on the ball and then punish you. And so you need to double up. It means from the first front and then the second front, you people need to double up. They would have to do double work today. It should be a double thing. If not, Eric Garcia is unable to clear the ball. And then maybe, I don't know the pairing, whether it's going to be Kubasi and then, how do you call it? Araujo.
It will be Martinez.
Okay.
Gerald Martin.
Okay. Fair enough. Those two people, they are a bit okay. Especially Kubasi. But I don't see Barca
winning this game.
No, struggling that much in this game because one, Camp Nou, home advantage, and then two, you're not going to get what Rafinha will give you. So this is when I expect Lamine Yamal to do what he's supposed to do. Olise, yesterday, the same works he did, Lamine Yamal is going to do those same works today. He gets it. But then we are going to see him shoot. Because it's true, because you know the person pressing for you is not there. So when the ball comes, be clinical, shoot and then do what? Score. You know Fermin, you won't get that from him. Like you get from Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. So today the ball lies on Lamine Yamal, Pedri, with the help of your fullbacks. And then Eric Garcia, we know he cannot come in, but he should step up. Barca should win this game, hands down.
Yeah, so our last game, that will be the Liverpool then PSG game. Which team is playing home first?
PSG.
PSG is playing home first. Okay, so PSG, Liverpool will travel to the Parc des Princes.
Yeah.
They're traveling to Parc des Princes to
With
play the
Banter.
first leg of the Champions League game fixture. I want you to tell me something. Liverpool is in a very terrible form now. Coming up against a PSG side that just scored 8 goals against Chelsea. Last season, they did the same thing against Liverpool. They met Liverpool, right? A lot of people underestimated PSG. They saw Liverpool as the favourites because Liverpool obviously finished top of the table. This time, it's a different scenario, but still PSG is the favourite. Tell me something about the PSG attack.
I think what makes it more scary for Liverpool is what I saw with Liverpool and Manchester City.
Yeah.
If they repeat the same thing, I think it's going to be way scarier than they saw against Manchester City. You know, when Liverpool was defending against Manchester City, you know, Manchester City committed so many players in attack, including Nico O'Reilly coming into attack. And then they had to drop, they played a 4-2-2-2. And then they had to drop Szoboszlai and then Jones to join the defensive line, making about 6 defenders, and then Ryan Gravenberch, the only player in front of the defensive setup. So what it did for them was that whenever they get the ball in attack, it made them difficult to get numbers in attack. When they try it against PSG, it's going to be dangerous. With Manchester City, the intent of that was to man-mark the Manchester City attackers. But with Paris Saint-Germain, they have something they do. They call it the positional fluidity.
Yeah.
They don't have players standing at one places. They have players consistently interchanging positions. And that might distort the structure of the Liverpool defense. I hope Ancelotti is able to get a much more effective defensive structure. That being said, they can be more effective in attack. But if he decides to go the same way he went with Manchester City, I think it's going to be trouble for Liverpool, especially with the fact that that positional fluidity is going to distort that defensive structure of Liverpool. It's going to be a very difficult one for Liverpool. I'll be surprised if Liverpool is going to get a point out of this one.
See, Liverpool also have proven that they are quite a different side when it comes to the Champions League.
Yeah.
We saw Florian Wirtz struggling in the Premier League, but then he goes into the Champions League and proves his worth.
Yeah.
He was bought for over 150 million, right? In the Champions League, let's see, like Anthony Gordon said, the teams come out to play compared to the Premier League. Do you think Liverpool has a chance here?
Well, Champions League. They met last season, and it was a 1-0 difference, I think. And the same managers meeting again this time. But one thing I love from Luis Enrique, he always keeps what works for him. He does what works for him. He doesn't change it. Liverpool might be inconsistent in their EPL, but Champions League, as you said, we all saw what they did to Galatasaray. They are going to massage you and take a draw, maybe a draw. They are not going to, the fact that they are not going to, attack and score doesn't mean they will allow you to score them. No.
So
Gravenberch have been he's doing so well with his defensive coverage, shielding the back line. So if PSG doesn't take his chances well, Bradley Barcola is out. He's not going to start today. If he doesn't take his chances very well, and Liverpool definitely knows that he might not be able to dominate that game in Parc des Princes, he's going to, keep him down with maybe a goal difference or a draw, which is possible. Then, when you come to Anfield, the same way he did to Galatasaray, he's going to do it to you. Because let's not forget that Pacho, like their defense is also shaky.
Yes.
Mendy has not been the Mendy that we know last season when they took the Champions League. So anything is possible. It's an open game. But then I'm expecting Luis Enrique's tactical,
Acumen.
should
Come
win
to-
this game for him.
All
Both
right,
home and away.
so that was your Champions League review. Quick predictions for today's game. PSG Liverpool.
30 minutes.
It's 30 minutes.
No.
You told me like 15 as you're wrapping up. Oh my days.
Why say you go stuff for 30 minutes? That'd be crazy.
Nah, it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Too much, man.
So what do we do?
Yeah, let's leave it.
And then let's forget about the you didn't end it.
So how do we end it?
Okay, so maybe let him do
No,
the
and do the ending and then we'll find a way to.
So maybe he would cut and
Yeah.
then put it in.
You have to cut some of the unnecessary parts out.
Yeah.
Your analysis is long too much.
Pass you.
Hey me.
Alright, let's do that.
Alright. So that was the preview for today's game. Quick predictions for us. Liverpool, Manchester City. Liverpool, PSG. Liverpool, PSG.
PSG should win like 3-1.
3-1 for PSG.
Yeah.
I'm also predicting PSG to win and possibly by 3 goals to 1. Also.
Follow up Barcelona, Atletico.
Barcelona to win 3
3-1,
goals
you
to
already
1.
said it.
Yeah.
Barcelona, Atletico.
Yeah, Barca win. Yamal scores.
Barca win, Yamal scores. That's coming from a Real Madrid fan, by the way. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if that happens today. Thank you for joining us. This has been Ajo Talks Football. We'll see you in the next video.